Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to In Conversation with Musafirs, the show where we discuss the issues and the problems and the discussions the Musafir community wants to be recorded on air, right? In this episode, we're going to choose a topic. एक टॉपिक हम चूज़ करेंगे जो कि रैंडमली टॉपिक चूज़ होगा और उसके ऊपर हम बात करेंगे. मेरा नाम अली हसन है. आई एम वन ऑफ द को फाउंडर्स ऑफ तीन मुसाफिर. आई हैव हियर विद मी.
I'm Hamiz Rizwan and I'm a software engineer. I am a traveler by heart, a musafir by soul, and I've learned a lot through traveling. We'll be discussing my learnings or generally travel से क्या सीखा है, जिंदगी में क्या सीखा है. And we have Mughis with us as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Mughis Jiral. I'm a consultant working with Adam Smith International in green finance and climate. And I'm also an OG Musafir, rather a core team member, if you will. I have been working. I am the head of YAN.
The president of YAN.
The president of YAN.
To be precise here.
Or people's engagement, if you will.
अब हमीज टॉपिक चूज करेगा. We put up a story and we asked people for topics. What should we talk about? Please go ahead.
Just so basically we uploaded a story जिसमें हम लोगों ने discuss किया. We thought of taking it very candidly. Okay, for the first episode we will be just picking up topics which people sent. There were a few suggestions which were very interesting. By the way, thank you everyone for sending us the suggestions. Some were very meaningful and we plan to talk about those suggestions later on.
Of course.
But mainly अभी कुछ जो हैं high level पे I'll list them down. One was a very interesting topic by S.M. Khan, by the way.
Okay.
He suggested how the purpose of traveling evolved over time.
Interesting.
I mean, that's a very interesting topic. Ariba basically wanted us to talk about the women empowerment and what steps we are taking as a community, as a travel organization, as a community, how we are solving the challenges that are faced by women in the industry. So basically,
and there was another interesting topic जो हमने it was somewhere on the line of save later, travel now. I think that's a very interesting topic. इसके ऊपर I've read a lot of articles as well. काफ़ी ज़्यादा international schools of thought भी इसके ऊपर हैं कि why you should travel now and save later, or rather save later, travel now. ठीक है. इसमें if you personally ask me, तो in the last 4 or 5 years मैंने कुछ save नहीं किया. सही है. मैंने जितना भी कमाया है, जो भी किया है, मैंने सारा का सारा वो ट्रैवल में लगाया. एंड द पर्पस बिहाइंड इट वाज नॉट जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ ट्रैवलिंग. आई पर्सनली बिलीव दैट ट्रैवल इज़ द बेस्ट टीचर, राइट. आपको जो स्कूल ऑफ ट्रैवलिंग है, उससे जो आपको सीखने को मिलता है, वो मेरा नहीं ख्याल आपको किसी एक यूनिवर्सिटी के क्लासरूम में बैठ के सीखने से मिलता है. मुझे लोगों ने बोला, यार तुमने इतना ज़्यादा पैसा खर्च किया है, तुमने इधर ट्रैवल किया, वहाँ ट्रैवल किया, तुम इन सबको जमा करके तुम एक MS कर लेते, मास्टर्स कर लेते, अपनी एजुकेशन एक और डिग्री ले लेते. मैं तो उस चीज़ से डिसएग्री करता हूँ. इफ़ आई कुड गेट अनदर चांस टू डू दैट ऑल ओवर अगेन, आई डू द सेम थिंग.
And very interestingly enough, I joined 3M in January 2023. Coast Pass was my first trip. Back then I was in Lund, and I remember right when I started my undergrad, I think this is September 2020. Around that time, 3M really took off. And that was about the time when you had Firefest, I think 1.0.
Yes, that was the first event.
That was your first event. And since then, I was offered to be part of 3M, take my step there, make my participation there. But I really didn't do that because back then my mindset was, it's not just about saving money. It's also about saving time, allocating it to something better, to your future. And I was in that mindset because I thought that if I work 16-17 hours a day sort of towards my future, that will grant me happiness. But the things that I have, and that will be great for my learning, but the things that I have learned through travel, through allocating a balance of time towards that, is something that would surprise some of you. Because if you
Surprise us.
Because
Definitely.
if the argument here is that you have to save for your future, the things that you learn towards your future during travel, those should also be accounted for.
यार मेरे ख्याल से तुमने इसको बड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेट करके बताया. इसको एक दफा जरा सादे लफ्ज़ों में भी बता दो.
सादे लफ्ज़ों में ये है कि आप सादे लफ्ज़ों में ये है
उर्दू के लफ्ज़ों में भी बता दो.
save later, travel now. So very basically, you want to say save later, travel now.
or rather travel smartly.
Travel smartly. Travel
Okay.
smartly is a very important thing यार वैसे by the way मतलब the thing is एक perception बना होता है you know कि आप travel बाद में कर लेना पहले भी आप इस time पे save करो up till a certain age you keep on saving and then after that you know kind of make that savings spin into you know something meaningful. अब what people do not realize is I'll try to connect this with something which is embedded in our DNAs जो हमारे genes के अंदर भी बहुत देर से है. Human beings have always been in the survival mode. ठीक है. We have been hunters and gatherers. हम लोग अपने हमारा generally एक lifestyle मुसाफिर lifestyle रहा है. You know in the traditional way as well. We have had the मुसाफिर lifestyle. तो वो basically change होता रहा with time. तो उसमें what we do not realize is कि हम लोग अब जब शहरों में आ गए हैं एक concrete jungles में आ गए हैं there are a lot of distractions that we have nowadays उसमें हम इस चीज़ को potentially इस चीज़ की importance sometimes we forget it how important it is to you know travel and explore yourself अब जब आप north में you know you're taking a trip to mountains you're closer to the rivers mountains seas you're looking at the stars. So it gives you a lot of perspective. It gives you a lot of perspective in life. It gives you a lot of perspective generally on what's going on. और I am a very strong believer of this thing यार कि जो आपकी energies होती हैं water bodies की energies होती हैं आपके जो mountains की energies होती हैं जो generally nature the aura that it basically translates and transcends into your soul. It you know it brings out something from within which forces you or maybe you know convenes you to think more positively, think in a way where you're challenging your thoughts as well.
यार ये तो बिल्कुल
इसमें I'm sorry I'm cutting you. इसमें एक और important चीज आ जाती है यार अपने इसको मैं connect करना चाहता हूँ कि why you know you should travel now and save later. मतलब you can do this smartly. I'm not of the you know I'm not of in the favor of you know spending irrationally on travel as well. आज कल के ज़माने में travel बहुत ज़्यादा ना इस तरह से भी define हो गया है कि people are seeking luxury out of travel, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing if you can afford that. If you can afford to you know stay in the 5-star hotels and do all of those things, that's a very good thing. But at the same time, we should realize that that's not the only way to travel. You can backpack. The purpose is to go out in the wilderness and you know explore yourself.
And audience, I was the one who was complicating things.
यार देखो I'll dumb it down for you. ठीक है मैं इसको एक इतने सादा लफ्ज़ में बोलता हूँ कि मेरा पता क्या मानना है you should spend irrationally on travel. सही है.
I think Aziz would disagree with you there.
That's okay. That's completely fine. आपको ट्रैवल के ऊपर टूरिज्म के ऊपर irrationally खर्च करना चाहिए. क्यों करना चाहिए? क्योंकि आप यहाँ पे नहीं आए हो कि you know sitting in a room and doing a podcast, right? You're here to explore the world. You're here to different cultures को देखना. दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है, लोग कैसे क्या करते हैं, पहाड़ों में कैसी ज़िंदगी है, सहराओं में कैसी ज़िंदगी है, समंदरों में कैसी ज़िंदगी है, शहरों में कैसी ज़िंदगी है, गाँव में कैसी ज़िंदगी है. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जब तक आप नहीं देखोगे तो आपने ज़िंदगी में क्या किया. ठीक है आपने बहुत कुछ अचीव कर लिया, आप बहुत आगे निकल गए, आपने अपने करियर में बहुत प्रोग्रेस कर लिया, बहुत एक बहुत प्रेस्टीजियस पोजीशन पे चले गए. उसके बाद अगर आप ये सब करो, वही बात है ना, सेव लेटर ट्रैवल नाउ. वो सब करने के बाद अगर आप वो कर रहे हो तो ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि वो बाद में ना हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी लेट्स से यूर अ कंसल्टेंट राइट, और आपका अभी फुल फोकस है कि आप अपनी कंसल्टेंट करियर पे फोकस करो, बिग 4 में जाओ, कुछ इस तरह का काम करो, और उसके लिए आपको हफ्ते में 40 के आपको 80 आवर्स भी करने पड़ते हैं, और आप दे रहे हो अभी, आप देना चाहोगे भी क्योंकि आपका गोल वैसा है. लेकिन अगर दिस इज़ फॉर एवरीबडी बाय द वे, अगर उस गोल को रीच करने में आपकी जो इनेट नीड्स हैं, आपकी जो बहुत बेस लेवल पे बातें हैं जो आपको बड़ी 10,000 साल से आपके साथ चल रही हैं, वो अगर वो सबसाइड हो रही हैं, अगर वो रियलाइज नहीं हो रही हैं, आपकी ज़िंदगी में उनकी जगह नहीं बन रही है, तो व्हाट्स द पॉइंट? आई डोंट सी द पॉइंट इन एनी ऑफ दैट. फिर चीज़ें वही बात है ना, चीज़ें बैलेंस करना बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन मैं दोबारा से बोलूँगा स्पेंड इरैशनली ऑन ट्रैवल. मज़ा उससे चीज़ का है.
That is a very fine notion, but either I have a very different opinion, not entirely different, but I would suggest people जो हमारे साथ travel करते भी हैं, generally I advise them I wouldn't go with the notion of saving later and traveling now. I would rather go with the notion of spending smartly. आप अपनी बजटिंग इस तरह की चीज करें कि आपकी सेविंग्स भी हो रही हो और आप ट्रैवल पे अपनी ट्रैवल डज नॉट टेक अ फॉर्च्यून टू आपको इट्स नॉट वेरी हेवी इन द पॉकेट्स दैट्स व्हाट पीपल नीड टू रियलाइज यू कैन डू इट स्मार्टली यू कैन डू इट स्विफ्टली बट अपने उस बजटिंग के अंदर ना ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि you should allocate some of the proportion to traveling. It can be domestic travel, it can be international travel, it can be
As long as it's travel. As long as it's travel.
it can be
Travel
just
is
traveling to southern areas of Pakistan, exploring cities, जो तुम्हारी बात ही I resonate with it deeply. Exploring cultures, आपको बहुत ज़्यादा perspective.
different landscapes. इतना ज़रूरी है डिफरेंट लैंडस्केप्स में आपको जाके रहना उनकी जैसे आप हमीद तुमने अभी बताया कि हर एक लैंडस्केप की जैसे वाटर बॉडी की तुमने बात की माउंटेन की बात की उनकी एक अपनी एक एनर्जी होती है उनकी अपनी एक जगह होती है अपनी दुनिया में ना तो उनकी जगह पे जब आप जाके उनकी एनर्जीज को एब्जॉर्ब करते हो उनको फील करते हो तो आई बिलीव द रियल ग्रोथ स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम देयर ग्रोथ करियर वाइज वो वाइज यार तो चलता रहता है सब कुछ
I think I've captured your point, and I think I more resonate more.
कैप्चर आप बहुत जल्दी कर
Capture
देते
आपको पता है, ठीक है?
एक
But
go-to
देखो,
lifestyle है।
go-to lifestyle। देखो, but spending smartly वाले point पे ना मेरी अपनी personal opinion इस पे ये है कि if you are spending money towards something, now you should be aware of what you're getting yourself into, or what the return you get is. So when it comes to spending smartly towards travel, आपको travel you shouldn't view it as a place to मुंजा जाना है मुंजा में जाके पहाड़ देखते हैं you should view it as an experience ठीक है I think one of the reasons why I've been somewhat successful in my career is because of communication skills and I don't think I would have unlocked that had I not traveled with 3M had I not sort of problem solved alongside with them had I not had those experiences so spending on travel and I've spent a lot on travel other than 3M as well I think I've covered majority of Pakistan and that's my goal. Before I leave Pakistan, I want to cover the entire Pakistan. That's not just to sightsee. I think the reason for that particularly is to get those experiences that I was talking about, to have those learnings, to sort of talk about that and improve myself as an individual, improve my skill set. And I think that's where if you are irrationally spending your money on travel, you should also irrationally look to get benefit out of it.
Okay. See, I captured your point as well and your point as well. So what you were saying, आप ये बोल रहे थे कि traveling में basically you should be aware of what you're doing, where you're going, और basically smartly travel करो. ठीक है आपका point ये था ना कि smart travel करो. और आपका point जो मुझे समझ लगी है from what I can draw out of you is travel is the best teacher.
I think this is a
Travel.
common point which we I think all can unite on. Travel is definitely the best teacher. Experiences आपको बहुत कुछ सिखाते हैं. I don't want to drift away from the topic, but at the same time, my advice to the young individuals जो basically इस hustle bustle culture के अंदर पड़े हुए हैं, भाग दौड़ में पड़े हुए हैं, मैं इनको यही बिल्कुल advice करूँगा ये भाग दौड़ छोड़ दें. Sustainable नहीं है life के अंदर. Unfortunately, I don't want to talk about how the capitalism they took over, fascism and all of those things. I don't want to bore the audience right now getting into the political science and details of that. So, but just abstracting away everything, the system that we are currently in, we have to hustle. We have to meet our ends. We have to work maybe 9 to 5, or maybe you can be our own creator. I'm not an advocate of working 9 to 5, by the way. I'm strictly against it. But at the same time, there is a balance that you need to find. There's nothing wrong with corporate, by the way. Some people who feel that they would want to get up that corporate ladder, तो वो उस path में भी बड़े अच्छा अपने आप को कर सकते हैं. मतलब आप
I understand.
The Ameer ने बात की about sort of giving advice to younger people. तो मैं अक्सर सोचता हूँ if I could give advice to 17 or 18-year-old me, would be something along the lines of हाँ उस वक्त में मैं बताया था for the first 2 years of my university I was constantly under this sort of like impression that if I don't work 16-17 hours मेरी ज़िंदगी में कुछ भी नहीं बनेगा. I won't be successful, I won't achieve anything. And that's sort of something जो कि बहुत ही गलत approach and I think people get sort of stuck into that in that corporate ladder by the race, so sort of like focusing on your particular career. I think this is a great learning for me. Is climbing up that corporate ladder, getting sort of successful in that has a lot of factors other than how hard you're willing to work. उसमें आपकी luck भी आ जाती है, उसमें आप how well connected you are भी आ जाता है, and sort of a lot of factors of how well placed you are. Timing is मतलब किस्मत, ठीक है, वो बात ना जो आपके लिए लिखा होता है वो आपको मिलता है, ठीक है. तो having this approach कि आपने irrationally अपने career की तरफ focus करना है is also as अगर we, for example, if these things
extremities are toxic basically.
Extremities are toxic. You sort of have to achieve that balance. It took me 2 years to figure out if I don't, sort of also prioritize my life, I'm wasting golden years of my life that I won't ever get back. And I think that's also something where travel sort of like helps because it's a complete distraction. It's a complete 360. So if you are focusing on that, you also get to focus on that and sort of like achieve learning side by side. Sort of thing.
No, I get that. I totally vibe with that. Musafir's the topic today is save later, travel now. And all of us have shared our thoughts and our interesting takes on the topic. However, not however, but I completely respect your opinions. But at the same time, however, I kind of disagree with both of that, right? Extremities, ठीक है, होता है कि यार एक्सट्रीम नहीं, ज़िंदगी में बैलेंस होना चाहिए, एक्सट्रीम इतना ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. अभी लास्ट जो हमीज़ का पॉइंट था वो बेसिकली ये था कि आपको जो रैट रेस है, आपको रैट रेस लेके चलनी है. क्यों लेके चलनी है?
That was not my point entirely. आप उसको completely escape नहीं कर सकते. That is my point. You can maybe at a certain point, but you have to meet your ends as well. तो उसमें देखो मेरा notion ये है कि I have seen some people who do not travel and they want travel, but उनका reason ये था कि यार they feel guilty to spend their savings on travel, which is kind of which kind of feel luxury to them, right? So because they have मतलब main बाकी चीजें भी देखनी है अपने आगे पीछे whatever their finances are, and honestly speaking, living in Pakistan, we all know how the economic situation over here is. तो उसमें मेरी एडवाइस ये थी कि आप उसको ये ना करो कि irrationally एक चीज में स्पेंड करने लग जाओ, right? कि मतलब irrationally travel में स्पेंड करने लग जाओ. But for example, if you can start saving a small amount. अब आप for example savings कर रहे हो तो I have a consultant here by the way as well. So maybe you can resonate with that. कुछ चीजें
I think he can resonate with everything. Consultants tend to resonate with everything. They tend to talk their way out of everything.
Talk the
Yapper is professional yapper right here.
Yapper right here.
तो उसमें आप कुछ proportions रखो. अब आप अपना portfolio build करो. some आपकी कुछ high risk investments होती हैं, savings होती हैं, कुछ आपकी low risk investments होती हैं, savings होती हैं, और कुछ आपका chunk होना चाहिए जो कि आप अपने ऊपर spend करो. That is investment on yourself. Physical activity जो है वो हमारे routine से काफी निकल गई है, minimalize हो रही है. लोग इसी पे focus नहीं करते. People think यार मैं कैसे time निकालूं, मैं सुबह office जाता हूँ, शाम को freelancing कर रहा हूँ, ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ. I think that is all of it is something which you have to do, but you have to spend time for yourself. You need to invest on yourself. And travel is one form of it. Travel is one form of it where you can invest on yourself for your own betterment, for your own learning, and for your own self-exploratory journey. छोटी सी जिंदगी है यार.
Exactly. मेरा यही तो पॉइंट है. अगर इतनी ही छोटी जिंदगी आपको लग रही है तो जंगलों में जाके रहें. Be one with the nature.
I mean, Ali.
नहीं, इतनी अगर छोटी जिंदगी है, ठीक है, कितने 60-70 साल है. एवरेज एज ऑफ अ पाकिस्तानी इज 55. ठीक है, उस कैलकुलेशन के मुताबिक हम तो एक पाँव तो हमारा इस वक्त कब्र में है, तो दूसरा पाँव जो रह गया, why not spend it irrationally in the nature, being one with the nature?
I get your point, but एक चीज तुमने you have to understand is कि we all are inherently very different. ठीक है? I don't think we can sit here, we can talk for practically 2-3 hours, we won't agree on each other's points. ठीक है? Where I say balance is, if you want sort of like that lifestyle,
by the way, balance एक चीज याद आई है. The key of life is balance.
Key of life is balance, and फिर extremities पे नहीं जाना चाह रहे. And I get that. That sounds amazing. Even kal raat ko, remember we were hanging out with a Musafir named Bilaj. He owns the restaurant Nespresso in Islamabad. Am I correct?
Yes.
And he was with a foreign traveler.
He was with this nomad, this Swiss nomad who was traveling from. His name was a guy traveling east. That was his name. That's it. He didn't tell his name. He just said, "I'm a guy traveling east," and I absolutely love that. I vibe with that. See, that is the kind of
I get it. Even I told him that is the life.
yes.
That may be the life. But I think because we all are inherently different, we have sort of like different sort of like goals set for us. That may stem from anything. That may stem from what we've been taught. That may stem from what we see. That may stem from how we view competition. I don't think we can ever get that. But at least my philosophy is to sort of tackle that is, trust me, I want to just wander around in the forest and just,
Spend your life in the wilderness. I mean, wake up every morning, 5 a.m., offer your prayer, go straight to a lake, take a dive, come out, eat food from the land, right? Spend time with your family, with your friends, or whatever, wherever you're living, in a remote village or a remote mountain place or wherever, right? And then go to bed early, rise with the sun, sleep with the sun. That's how we have lived. That's how humans have lived for the last, 10 to 15,000 years. अभी ये तो अभी आके हुआ है यार, अभी आप ये तो अभी आके हुआ है पिछले कोई 200-300 साल में कि हम कंक्रीट जंगल्स में आ चुके हैं, हमने इतने प्रोसेस एक कंसल्टेंट बन गया है, ठीक है, कंसल्टेंसी यापिंग प्रोफेशनल यापर्स आ चुके हैं, सही है, और रैट रेस स्टार्ट हो चुकी है. पहले तो अगर आप मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द ह्यूमन रिकॉर्डेड टाइम वाज स्पेंट लाइक दिस, waking up with the sun and sleeping with the sun.
I resonate with the emotions that you are trying to portray, but इसमें ना थोड़ा सा पीछे अगर लेके चले ना, तो इंसान के पर्पस की बात जो आती है ना, उसमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा आती है कि the humans here उनका पर्पस है to evolve as species. We have been evolving through millions of years, hundreds and thousands of years. Or in the past 200 years, the evolution has been very rapid in terms of the technical aspects, in terms of the industrial aspects, in terms of the agriculture aspects, and all of those aspects. It has been very rapid. It has been very rapid. It has been very rapid. The thing is, the notion that you're trying to portray over here just goes against all of the adaptability the human race has created. As of now, you're just being a rebel over here and saying to go all against that. No, you can't do that.
Remember the 4th of November.
ये बीच में पता नहीं कहाँ से आई. But anyway, you just can't completely go against that. तो मेरा again perspective ये होता है कि हर चीज के लिए ना balance ढूंढना कोशिश करो. और again inherently we are all different creatures. तुम्हारे अंदर अगर ये emotions का overflow है और तुम्हें लगता है कि यार my purpose, this is what drives me.
I think we're tracking a little off topic right now. I'll anchor back to the topic at hand, which is save later, travel now.
No, I mean like we are on the topic, but we are also trying to find a balance over here. It's very important,
Ali, I think you'll agree with me. Travel is freedom, right?
Travel is freedom.
Okay. And the way the institutions are set up, you could say we are limited. We are very limited. We're limited by resources. We're limited by time. We're limited by sort of like our inherent this sort of like psychological need, sort of like work, establish our career, be a part of this rat race, climb the corporate ladder. And I think a great way to sort of like counteract that is if you are limited by all of these factors, and if you are to travel, if you are to achieve that freedom, if you want that sort of lifestyle, is that rather than being lucky and making use of opportunities, you make your own. And sort of like what my philosophy towards that is, I try to achieve as much as I can within the amount of time I have. Waste no particular time, hang out with that person, unlock that opportunity, go there, go places, make sure that I am not wasting my time. I am working towards either something, whether that be my career, or whether that be towards the next trip, whether that be towards managing this. The whole purpose of that is to sort of like get in a position where I can have this sort of time, or where I can have this sort of like opportunity to make sure that I am situated in the right places to travel as much as I can and to travel as early as I can. rather.
I think that's a very interesting notion, and we should definitely talk more about traveling as early as you can. That directly resonates with the topic at hand.
Mhm.
Travel now, save later, or rather, save later, travel now. Right? Travel as early as possible.
वही बात है ना अब तुम्हारी जो the way the institutions are set up I think nobody here currently working in Pakistan even if you unless you work extremely hard you're not going to be in a financial position to make a world tour unless you're like 50, 55, let's say and you, just as you pointed out earlier 55 is the average age of
Exactly.
That's
क्या
it.
करेगा?
क्या करेगा but you want to travel in your youth days so you're sort of like
Yes.
stuck in this paradox where you can't travel in your youth days because you're limited by this your financial aspect. You can't travel in your later days because you're
Limited by your life.
by your age. So I think a great way is to sort of like figure out a way where we can achieve a balance in particular in that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I totally agree with you. First of all, आपने बात बहुत अच्छी की है. इस पे it is a dilemma, right? लेकिन हर चीज़ का कोई ना कोई solution आपको मिल जाता है. मेरा इसमें personally ये मानना है कि whatever you set your mind to, it becomes reality. अभी आपने बात की कि मेरे पास पैसे नहीं हैं, मैं world tour नहीं कर सकता. आप सोचो तो सही. You set a goal for the next 2 years. And I'm telling you, in the next 2 years, or the next 3 years, or the next 4 years, that will come to be.
And I think I completely agree with Eddie. The first step to achieving anything is practically thinking about it, setting up a game plan. That's how you sort of like get to the stage where you make your own luck.
And generally also I believe in the power of manifestation as well. It doesn't work कि कोई बाहर से चीज आती है एकदम से manifest हो जाती है. But the power of manifestation means कि अपने आप को वो चीज इतनी दफा realize करवाते हो, इतनी दफा repeat करते हो intrinsically कि आपकी motivation, आपके actions, आपके जो भी आपकी आप चीजें day to day life में कर रहे हो, they are motivated towards that certain goal. That is how manifestation works. It's not like something just comes externally and changes the course of how things are going. बाकी यार वही बात है ना कि आई एग्री विद द नोशन ऑफ सेविंग लेटर एंड ट्रैवलिंग नाउ बट उसके अंदर बैलेंस ढूंढ के क्योंकि I in an ideal world man I am all in for just going out in the jungle and waking up to the lakes going for fishing and all of that lifestyle but सब चीजें साथ साथ लेके चली होती हैं तो उस नोशन को मैं कहता कि उसमें ट्रैवल जो है वो इग्नोर नहीं होनी चाहिए अपनी लाइफस्टाइल से it should start especially for those people जिन्होंने मतलब डे टू डे लाइफ में इतना फंस गए हैं कि वो कहते हैं यार मेरे को तो टाइम नहीं ट्रैवल करने का
उनके लिए तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है उनके लिए तो आई थिंक दिस पॉडकास्ट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द पीपल हु आर स्टक हु फील स्टक इन द रैट रेस जिनको लगता है कि वो उससे एस्केप नहीं कर सकते जिनको लगता है उनका डिलेमा इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग है कि वो उससे नहीं हिल सक रहे उससे निकल नहीं सक रहे उनके लिए दिस टॉपिक सेव लेटर ट्रैवल नाउ इसकी डेप्थ में इसकी गहराई में जाना आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट है यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड यू नीड टू गेट द मैसेज जो हम आप तक कन्वे करना चाह रहे हैं कि वाई इट्स सो इम्पॉर्टेंट टू ट्रैवल एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल वाई इट्स सो इम्पॉर्टेंट टू सेव लेटर ट्रैवल नाउ पुटिंग ऑल परस्पेक्टिव्स नाउ on the table, right? My perspective is the irrational one. Your perspective is a balanced one. Your perspective is also a balanced one, right? इन सब चीज़ों से आई थिंक देयर इज़ वन मैसेज जो हम सब कन्वे करना चाह रहे हैं मेरे लिए वो मैसेज इट्स वेरी सिंपल है यार इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है कोई ऐसी चीज़ नहीं है इट्स सिंपल सेव लेटर ट्रैवल नाउ
I think I'd say save smartly, travel as much as possible.
right of course yeah man definitely it's a balance
Yeah. If you are to sort of like circle back into this, I think if you are somebody that's sort of like stuck in this corporate culture where you are working all the time and that has become a major chunk of your life. If you're not thinking as to why you're working that hard, I think you're really robbing yourself of some experiences. I think as a start, you should set a goal of traveling minimally 2 times across the north, south, wherever you want to go. Set that sort of target and sort of like think as to why you want to go, who you want to go with, and what sort of experiences you want. I think that's a great start to sort of like manifest getting into those experiences or the benefits that travel sort of can give to you.
और ऑल्सो इसमें एक और इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ आ जाती है कि फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैवंट जस्ट gotten the opportunity to travel at all, उनमें बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उनको हर किस्म का लैंडस्केप अट्रैक्ट करे इनिशियली. Some people are beach people, some people are just for love of mountains, they go to the mountains. ठीक है. और हर एक प्रिंसिपली डिफरेंट
अपनी
मोटिवेशन
मोटिवेशन होती है, अपनी अट्रैक्शन होती है.
हाँ,
नेचुरल अट्रैक्शन किसी
Exactly. कुछ लोग इन दोनों चीज़ों से हटके कुछ लोगों को कल्चर एक्सप्लोर करने का मजा आता है, कुछ लोगों को हिस्ट्री एक्सप्लोर करने का मजा आता है. तो हर आप जो भी चीज़ है ना, मतलब जो भी चीज़ है उसको पर्पसफुली माइंडफुली विद क्रिएट माइंडफुलनेस आप उसको सोचो और उसके लिए टाइम निकालो और आप उसको फीड करो अपनी अंदर की ग्रेटिफिकेशन. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
राइट मुसाफिर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर टाइम. आई होप जो मैसेज हम देना चाह रहे थे आपको मिला है. दिस इज़ वंस अगेन इन कॉन्वर्सेशन विद मुसाफिर. कैच यू ऑन द नेक्स्ट एपिसोड.